Right then, as discussed before, when you do a movement to the side, it doesn't mean the attack's coming from the side, it means I'm moving to the side of my attacker or opponent. So if I'm facing Paul here, we'll do it 45 degrees so you can see it both ways. So if Paul grabs again, okay, put the hand up, okay. Now bear in mind, like I said before, we're looking at facing untrained street thugs rather than cage fighting or fighting other martial artists. So that's the threat he's going to try and hit me with. He's restraining me there, okay. So if I move to his side, I actually move away from that hand, so that's a good place for me to move to. If at the same time as I move to the side, I do the Uchiuki, now his arm is in a bad position, okay, his hand is almost in a wrist lock there, but his wrist is quite bent round, but he's still trying to hold on. Now, the sensible thing to do would be to let go. The instinctive thing is to hold on tighter. When somebody feels you're trying to release yourself from their grip, they'll instinctively hold on tighter. So don't think like, oh, all you need to do is let go and he can hit you again. That's not what they're going to do, because their instinct's going to kick in. Once your adrenaline kicks in, the brain shuts down and they're going to act instinctively rather than with any kind of intellectual thought about it. So I'm here 45 degrees onto you. I'm going to step round 45 degrees this way. Now, if he's really strong, okay, he's got a really good grip, I might not be able to do that. So I might want a distraction. And if I want a distraction, I could use my reaction hand. Just kind of fingers in towards the eyes or just hand in the face, whatever. Just use that as a distraction. Then I come round, okay? Then the next one is that double technique. That one there's a Gidan Bright. I can just take it down there, and I've got a trap there, and this one can come in, punch the back of the head, put an arm lock on, whatever I want to do with it, yeah? So I'll show you that one again. He grabs, okay? So I want to move away from that one, I want to move to his side. Distraction, fingers towards the eyes, or whatever, so distraction, coming around, okay? Trap it, okay, coming down with the Gidan Bright, and there's the Uchiuki coming in. I can do it as a strike or as an arm lock. And if Paul just steps away, please. That's my position that I'm in. Okay, so there's one application for that one. Right. So of course, like we say, all these movements can be used in more ways than one. So another thing we're going to look at here is from a double grab. So from a double grab, normally, okay, the first thing we do is we bring the arms in together and then down. Okay, together, then down. So if he grabs, now from there his structure is fairly strong. If I come in, that first part of the movement, bringing my elbows together, now look where his elbows are, I can just turn around there. Okay, that's the position of his elbows, and that is not a very strong structure for him. Okay, so I've damaged his structure, weakened his grip. So there's the first part. I've come in there and weakened his grip. And then the main part of this is the Gidan Bright, the lower block, is going to come through the middle and break it. Okay? Now, sometimes when people try and do this, they try and do it downwards. If I do it downwards and he resists, it's difficult. If I do it the way we normally do it, going through there, it's a lot more powerful. Yeah? So, again, it's like grab, break his structure, break his structure. This is the main one. This one coming up will also take his structure a little bit as well. The most important one is obviously the Gidan Bright. So there I am, I've taken him there, okay, I've weakened his structure, and then of course we do it the other way, don't we? Okay, so we show again, so we grab, and weaken the structure, take it through, okay, grab him back of the head as we discuss in other places, from the crown, because it's more powerful. This one then goes down, this one then goes up, and I've got this kind of arm lock position. It's very prone. I can finish up with whatever I like. Okay, take the knee joints, going back to the elbow strike, whatever you like. So the next movement in the kata, we've got a Marotyuki, which we discussed before in Heian Sandan. We've got the Nukate spear hand strike, which again we discussed in the Heian Sandan. And then we've got this interesting move, where from there, turn the hand round, coming in, and hammer fist. Now, one of the most best applications I've seen for this one is taken from, he's trying to twist my arm behind my back. So if you grab the arm, twist it behind my back. Oh, okay, can we just turn around so the camera can see? So that's the position he's trying to get me into, which would be quite painful for me. So this hand's been on the elbow is quite important, because as he grabs again, he twists round. Okay, this hand supports my elbow. Okay, takes some of the pressure off it. I come in tight, I keep in tight, I spin around with it like I do in the kata, and then strike. Okay, now just a little point as we discussed earlier on, when you're doing a hammer fist, it doesn't necessarily need to be with a fist. Okay, if he's got long arms and he's a bit of a distance from me, I can use the fist. If I spin round and I'm really close, I can use the forearm. And again, as we discussed earlier on, bones, it's got two bones down your forearm, one in line with the little finger, one inside of the thumb. And that position with the hammer fist is teaching us to align that bone with the target. So as I spin around, it can be fist, anywhere down there. Even if it's close, I can even just use an elbow. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so we'll show you again. Okay, he grabs, I use that hand as a support as he twists. Rather than resist, I go with it. Okay, I've got to come in really tight. Okay, and then from there, okay, he's quite close, I can just use an elbow. If his arms were a little bit longer, I could maybe use the forearm. It doesn't really matter. Okay, thank you. Now, step back please, Paul. Thank you. Now, when we practice the kata, okay, we twist and we come in really tight. And this coming in tight is important, because when he's twisting my arm, as the arm's being twisted, I've got to come in tight to be able to come out and do that strike. If I don't come in tight, I end up hitting around there somewhere instead of there where I want to be. So again, the kata teaches us everything in tight, and then I'll be able to twist around enough to be able to strike him and hit him. Okay, then there's the Uesuki step and punch, which again, fairly straightforward. And then we've got these movements. Now, I've got two favourite techniques for that movement which I like to teach, which are variations on the theme. If you can come forward please, Paul. Just in a fighting stance. Okay, so let's say for whatever reason I've come through with a punch and I've hit him. Okay, so I've hit him, I've stunned him, and then as I come round, I come to his side. I step round there. I think it might be easier the other way around. The camera will be able to see it better, please, Paul. Okay. So I've done my punch, I've stunned him, he collapses just a little bit, so he just folds a little bit. Okay. Then I come round, headlock. Okay. So there's the position in the kata. Okay, and there's my headlock. Okay, thank you. Now, if we look at the next movement in the kata, knee up, elbow comes around very forcibly, I should say. Now, again, there's lots of different applications for this, but if we look at it, put that into this next application. So I've hit him, I come around into this headlock position. Now, in the kata we're there, but let's be realistic about it. If I'm putting a headlock, I'm going to want to be there. Okay, so let's be a bit sensible about it. Now then, if I lift my knee up, I use that as a counterweight, and I step forward and twist his arm around. Now, obviously I'm not going to do that fast, you'll do a lot of damage to his neck. But if you've got someone in the headlock, okay, I'm going to do the next movement, but I'm going to let his head go. I come up, okay, that's going to be quite a dangerous movement, but again, it depends on karate gives you different levels of violence, or any martial art gives you different levels of violence. That is quite an extreme, well, this one is quite a minimum level of violence. I can try and control him, I can talk him down, calm down, try and get him to calm down, get him to comply. If he doesn't comply, or if he's still kind of being a threat, if he starts drawing a weapon out of his pocket, I can up the level of violence to the next stage. Okay? Another variation, punch, after come from the punch, this time instead of coming around the head, I can come into the centre a bit, thank you. After the punch, instead of coming around his head, I'm going to go underneath the arm. Okay, so I come underneath the arm, then as I turn around, trap his arm behind my head, and then I come round, I've got an arm lock. Okay, now again the knee comes up. I've just got a knee strike if I want it. Or if I want it, I can force that elbow around very fast and take his arm out. So again, we'll show you that one again, please. We'll show you from the other side. Thank you. So I've got the punch in, he's a little bit winded. Okay, I come under there. Okay, so just under the arm, I roll around. Now, don't try and come over the shoulder. It won't quite work. You want to keep up with where his tricep is. Okay, on his foot, on his upper arm. Not try and come over the arm. It won't work there. So keeping it by his tricep, then coming around. Okay, and you've got that arm lock there. So again, I've got the knee attack. You can see it a little bit better that way. And if I want to, that wrenching movement, which I'm not going to do because he might want his shoulder later. I think it'd be grateful if I didn't. Okay, next sequence we're going to look at, which we partially covered on, this sequence in Heian Sandan or Pinan Sandan, as depending on what style. A knee comes up, elbow across, and back fist strike. In some places, they may do it as a crescent kick rather than a knee up, but again, it's variation on the theme. If I can borrow Paul again, please. Okay, now again, there's a number of different applications for it. I mean, if you get into a fighting stance, I mean, just coming around into that horse stance. Okay, if he's in a position here, I might just want to maybe come in, just take that one a little bit into the side, and just come in there and attack his stance. Just coming into a horse stance, coming round. And again, I've got this elbow coming round with it. I can either use that to knock his arm out of the way, or I can just use it as a strike to his back, whatever. Okay, so if we do it from the other side, please. On the side, that's it. Okay, so he's in the stance there. I can lift the knee up if I like as a distraction. I can either just come straight in with it, or if I want to, I can lift it up as a distraction and then stepping down. And as I step down, I push my knee into his. Okay, so there's different ways you can do it. Also, obviously, bringing the leg up. As I come down, I'm standing on my cable here. Also, as I bring the knee up, I can use it to stamp down either on the knee. I can run my foot down his shin, especially if I've got shoes on, or I can simply stamp on his foot. And again, even if he's got shoes on, top of a shoe is normally fairly thin. Bottom of a shoe is normally the thickest part, because obviously that's where most of the wear and tear happens. So again, we've got this movement coming up, either stamping down to knee, running your foot down, stamping on the top of the foot. And again, there's small, fragile bones in the top of the foot. So stamping down, it can be a very, very painful, nasty technique. But again, like I say, I can come in either way. I can come around this way, attacking the knee there. Or if I wanted to come in with the other knee, I can bring it up, step behind him, and then when that elbow comes around, I can knock him over. I'm not going to do it because there's a wall here and there's a hard floor, but I can knock him over my knee, okay, using that one, strike the chest. And so I've got his leg there, strike there, take him over my knee. Okay, so there's a number of different ways you can use that particular application. Another version is if he grabs that hand, okay, if I just come around, follow the technique from there, I break his grip, okay, and then doing the back fist strike, it just comes over the top. So again, if he grabs, okay, so I come around there, that more or less breaks his grip. And then as I do the back fist, if he's still got a bit of a grip there, albeit a weakened one, so if I bring my elbow, keep my elbow where it is, okay, I'm leveraging my hand using that elbow as a fulcrum. Okay, so I show again, faster. Okay, so it comes round, back. Okay, so we can use it as an escape from a grab. Okay, so a number of different ways you can use that movement. Right? Then we come on to the end sequence. We've got this movement where he comes slowly. Okay, it comes out nice and straight. Okay, now there's some movements where it comes out circular. This one is very deliberately straight. Now, again, this can be a number of different applications. If he grabs my wrist, okay, I can use it just come into the side, just push off there. Similar to we use the Gidan Brai when he's looking at Heian Shodan, we used it there. Okay, this is a variation on a theme. Okay, so I step to the side, I'll bring it up as I do bring it up as you do in the kata. So I'll bring it up and then just push out in a straight line. That leaves him in a prone position, bang, bang, whatever I want to do, yeah? So that's one application for it. It could also be when it's coming out straight. Now notice we focus on that blade edge of the hand. And it's not a shuto where the whole wrist is straight. This is more extended, is further out. So this is a technique where you're going to be pushing into the person. So again, if we do it slowly to demonstrate at first, I think it might be easier this side. Okay, so Paul comes in with a right-handed haymaker, which most people are going to do. Just taking it straight into that joint. Okay, so just put your hand out. Bring it around here, thank you. So as the haymaker's coming around, I'm aiming into that shoulder joint there. Because as that's coming forward, as I push in, it takes all the power out of that arm. Even if it does come around and kind of catch me afterwards, it's going to be very, very weak. Plus, if we're doing this forcefully, it can be quite painful on his shoulder. Okay, so we'll do it once because, like I say, it can be a bit painful. If you come back a little bit away from the camera, thank you. So, like I say, it can be a bit painful, so we don't only do it the once. When you're ready. Okay, so just go straight into that elbow joint, takes all the kind of like impact and sting out of his punch, and can be quite painful to him as well. Right, now we're going to look at the end sequence of Heian or Pinan Sandan, where we step up and spin around. Okay, now you used to be taught in the early days that someone's grabbing you from behind and you're elbowing them there and you're punching them there at the same time, and I would say that's stretching it a little bit. Okay, now more likely as you're stepping up and spinning around, it's more likely to be a throw. So if I just stand Paul here, we'll do it at kind of 45 degrees, okay, so hopefully you can see it from both directions. So in the kata, I've just stepped forward and done the punch, okay, so he should hopefully be a little bit stunned. Now, a common mistake, people step out wide, but in the kata, when it's done correctly, we step narrow. Because the idea about stepping narrow is I can spin. Now, if I grab hold of Paul and I spin, he comes with me. Now, again, we can't do it full force because we're on a wooden floor. Okay, so again, at 45 degrees to camera, I've done the punch. Okay, I step in and I spin. And I spin close to Paul. Because if I spin close to him, I can take him with me. If I'm out here and I try and spin, it's very difficult to shift him. So I want to be close to him when I spin, and then it's much, much easier to take him with me. So spinning from there. Okay, it comes around quite easy. Now from there, I can follow through into a lock, okay, into a neck lock. So if Paul steps away, please. There's my lock, there's a kata. Okay, this one's pulling in. That was my neck lock in the kata with there. Okay, it can also, if you're, again, depending on the size and weight of your partner, you might be able to do it as a throw. So as you, boy, your game, please, Paul. Okay, and again, not going to do it on this hard floor. A bit more over there, please. Thank you. So again, I come round, spin round really fast, bang! I can take him over that leg and drop him on the floor. Okay, Paul is a very big, solid person. He's not quite so easy to kind of like throw onto the floor. So it's a little bit easier with someone like Paul. There, spin round, follow through with a headlock. Okay, now there he's off balance. Okay, if I just move back a little bit, you see how easy it would be for me to drop him on the floor. And that's the position I want to be in. I want to be into my kibadachi, my horse stance, because I can control the weight quite easy. But he's off balance and I can drop him very, very easy. Okay, so again, there's one that goes behind the shoulder, so you can see where that fits in.